Steve Rogers just absolutely wrecked Dr. Doom in issue 4 of the Captain America reboot, so let's get into it. What's up, everybody? We've been covering Chip Zdarsky's Captain America reboot from issue 1, and it has been freaking amazing so far. You can check out our last episode on issue 3 right here, but it left off with Steve Rogers facing the manipulations of Dr. Doom, which led to some harsh realities about the world he returned to after coming out of the ice. We also learned that the new Captain America, Dave Colton, has some serious demons stemming from his time on the battlefield. And the contrast between him and Steve has made for really smart storytelling, and issue 4 just keeps that going. But New York Comic Con also just wrapped up this past weekend, and during the con we partnered with Whatnot to give away one of their highly sought after Marvel Year in 25 comic trading packs, which of course comes with 3 comic pools in the pack. Well, the Whatnot username for the winner of that pack is Zach A. Shaw 1939. We sent a message to you on Whatnot so we can get that to you in the mail right away, and I hope you pull a red foil. But there was just an insane amount of exclusives that dropped at the con in general, and while most of the best and most sought after exclusives sold out, I was able to snatch up several of the rarest books from the con, most of which are signed by at least one of the creators, to bring to you guys in one big post-con drop on our Variant Whatnot shop. So be watching the main channel here and on our socials for that information, because you do not want to miss this one, I promise you that. Also, make sure in the meantime to be following Variant Comics on Whatnot, and if you don't have a Whatnot account, use our invite link in the description below to set one up, which will also give you a $15 credit to use anywhere on Whatnot. Again, our Whatnot invite link is in the description below. Alright, so Captain America issue 4 opens up where issue 3 left off, with another flashback to Dave Colton, Captain America's time serving in Iraq. And we find ourselves in the office of one of Colton's superior officers just after he had snapped and killed one of his team members in response to witnessing that soldier take the life of a small child. We see Colton looking out the office window as his commanding officer says, obviously public missions are out of the question. We managed to secure all the civilian footage of the incident, but we can't risk it. Normally you'd be discharged, but Uncle Sam put a lot of money into you, Colton. You have all the information to make this decision. The shrinks cleared you with some input from me, and the doctors, well, you know what they said. Son, from here on out, it may just be under cover of night or in the deepest jungles, but you're my Captain America if you still want it. And as we see him knock on Cap's shield, which is sitting on the desk in front of him, he tells Colton, take some time, it'll be here. And he walks out of the office. But we can't turn the page without first noting that Colton is definitely looking at that shield with disgust. Anyway, on the next page, we are taken back to Latveria, where Dr. Doom has Marius and his resistance fighters on their knees in front of the entire city. And Doom is in full demagogue mode as he addresses his citizens saying, peace, prosperity. These men and women think you shouldn't have these things. That unending turmoil should be your world. They want democracy, a country where fools and philosophers have equal say, so nothing ever changes. This causes Marius to scream, people should have control over their destinies, Doom, their lives. But Doom just calmly and defiantly responds, the illusion of control. It's incredibly sad, really. Everything you could ever need is provided to you by Doom. Is it simply a blow to your masculinity? Is that why you parade around with your guns and your rebellious bravado? You endanger our people, and there is no greater crime in Latveria, Marius Wolf. Then as we see one of Doom's soldiers place his gun against Marius's head, Doom says, I sentence you to death. But just before the soldier executes Marius, he gets knocked back by Captain America's shield, while we simultaneously start to get narration from Steve Rogers that says, I wonder why it happened. The icy sleep through decades and decades. But here I am, here I stand, in front of another power-mad despot with people in danger. We then cut to a full page of Captain America standing amongst the crowd while holding his shield in the air and saying, nobody else dies today, not while I stand and breathe. Steve Rogers immediately goes on the attack against Doom, but he also gets a radio transmission right then from Colton that says, Rogers, we're under fire, followed by panels that show the Howling Commandos pinned down in another part of Latveria. Because remember, Captain America is supposed to be keeping Doom occupied while Colton and his team find the surviving hostages and get them out of the country. Anyway, Colton continues to tell Steve, soldiers knew we'd be here and now we're outnumbered. Remaining hostages are being held in an asylum in the northeast. Chill then asks Colton, 3 of them? Can't you just throw that shield, do one of those cool ricochet shots on them all at once? But Colton replies, that's the other guy, Chill. I throw this and they suddenly got a shield. Chill then responds, well, crap. Hopefully our girl Slate gets into position soon to clear the decks. And that she does, because on the next page we see her take out all 3 of the Latverian soldiers from a rooftop. She then tells them, boys, finish up down there and I'll meet you in the building. Followed by Chill and Captain America immediately taking off and entering the asylum, with Chill saying to Cap, now let's save these idiots and go home. And needless to say, they have to hurry because we are simultaneously seeing Captain America get pummeled by Dr. Dr. Doom and 2 of his Doom bots. We then see Colton and Chill making their way through the asylum. Chill has one of the Latverian soldiers with a knife to his throat, so the soldier tells them that the 2 surviving hostages are in a room at the end of the hall and that there are no guards. So Colton busts through the door and does in fact find the husband and daughter of Ambassador Hartley alive. The father panics and tells him to stay away, but Colton says, "It's okay. We're American. What's your name?" The girl's father introduces himself as Terry and introduces his daughter as Ainsley, to which Cap responds, "We'll get you out of here in no time, okay? First, we need to..." But before Colton gets a chance to finish that sentence, things take a shocking turn as Chill stabs the ambassador's husband through the back. The daughter, of course, screams in terror and Colton just screams at Chill, but Chill just responds, "Sorry, Cap," while Slate simultaneously walks in saying, "Orders are orders." Cap says, "What orders were those, Slate? Murdering civilians?" And this is where Slate drops the bomb when she tells him, "We weren't here to rescue the embassy workers. We are here to make sure they never talk. Good old Uncle Sam backed Doom's overthrow of King Vladimir. We helped him to power, and he stabbed us in the back. The embassy here arranged it all, knew everything, grumbled about it, and were proven right. After everything that's happened, it's easier this way. Zero evidence. Sorry, Colton, the job's the job." Slate then turns to take out the little girl as well as she pleads for her life, but Captain America is not having it, and he slams Slate into the wall with his shield. Chill tries to retaliate, but Colton just crushes him as well while screaming "monsters," followed by Slate taking off after the girl while saying "monsters who get the job done." But on the next page, we are returned back to the battle between Captain America, Dr. Doom, and his Doombots. And Doom is telling him, "I truly don't wish to murder you, Rogers. To see you awaken after decades only to immediately end your life feels rather pointless." But Captain America, who's making his way back to his feet after Doom's last blow, says, "You won't kill me. It'll be you and your robot butlers. You say you looked up to me as a symbol, but what kind of a symbol lets machines do his fighting for him? You want to be a real symbol for your people, Doom? Then be a man first." As we see Cap pick up his fist and challenge Doom to fight man to man. However, Doom responds, "Doom has no ego for you to toy with, Captain. Everything I do for Latveria. But your point is sound. Doom is a symbol." At which point Captain America says to himself, "I've got him." Doom then waves off his Doombots and says, "So let us represent our nations, yes? Latveria versus America, to the death." As we see the 2 finally clash one-on-one. But on the next page, we see Colton trying to talk sense into Slate, saying, "This isn't you, this isn't right." But Slate comes flying out from behind a crate and takes Colton's legs out from under him while saying, "Is it that costume, Colton? You put it on and it gives you the brain of a child? We're elite, Cap. We're big picture." As she sees the girl running outside and takes off after her. We then see Doom attacking Rogers while saying, "It's no use, Rogers. You're the pinnacle of humanity from a century ago. But Doom is now," essentially echoing the same sentiments as Slate. Doom then unleashes an erratic blast while screaming, "Doom is the power of a new age." But the blast completely misses Captain America and hits a building, causing debris to come flying down onto a couple of innocent Latverian citizens. Cap manages to shield one, but the other gets crushed. Cap then runs over and picks up the body of the dead citizen with sadness on his face, but Doom just tells him, "Please, Captain, the theatrics are a bit much considering he's not even American," which is exactly the kind of motivation that Captain America usually needs to go to the next level. And on the next page, we see the same is true for Dave Colton as he watching Slate continue to try to take out this little girl. So essentially, we are seeing both Slate and Dr. Doom give both Captain Americas the exact same hero's motivation at the same time. Steve starts to reply to Doom, "These are your people." But Doom picks him up by the neck and says, "Do not lecture me on my responsibilities, Captain. I care for a country, and its individuals understand sacrifice for a country, much like yours once did." We then see the turn for both Colton and Steve Rogers' Captain America, as Doom says to Cap, "You Americans have lost your way. Perhaps Doom should liberate it next." But before Doom has a chance to say another word, Cap pulls out a device he got from Reed Richards and slams it onto the side of Doom's mask, while we also simultaneously see Colton unleash Captain America's shield, throwing it for the very first time. We then see Doom freaking out as this device has seemingly depowered his armor, and Cap says, "I only have seconds thanks to Reed's device." And he starts to absolutely unleash on Dr. Doom until finally he rips his mask off of his face, which of course for Doom is a big deal. Narration from Cap then says, "When despots rise, they can feel otherworldly to the people they control. So the people need reminding that they have the power, that the despot is as human as they are." We then see Doom attempt to hide his face with his hands as his citizens throw bricks and stones at him. But Captain America just comes in with a strong right cross while saying, "Reed Richards says hello," pummeling Doom to the ground. The Doombots then rush to Doom's side, and as we see the Doombots carrying Dr. Doom away, Steve radios into Colton saying, "Doom's down. Do you have the hostages? We need to get to the extraction site." But Colton just comes in over comms saying, "We're the bad guys." At which point Steve realizes something is very wrong and he says, "What?" But as we cut to the next panel, Colton interrupts him saying, "I'm tired of being the bad guy. So tired. Why do we do this, Cap? We can't leave. We need to fix it." As we see Colton in a blind rage with blood all over him, having murdered Slate. Steve radios back saying, "Colton, do you have the hostages or not?" But Colton ignores him and replies, "I can't go. I've got to stay. Don't you get it? It's the only way. I've got to stay and kill them all." As we get a close-up of Colton's rage-filled, bloodshot eyes to end the issue. Man, this series might be my favorite book Marvel has going on right now. The conflict Steve is going through, in contrast with the trauma-induced rage driving Colton, is very much reminding me of the contrast between main continuity Superman and absolute Superman in DC Comics right now. The storytelling here by Zdarsky just continues to be excellent, and it was really fun to see Cap wreck Dr. Doom as well. But now I need to see how Cap manages to stop Colton from unleashing hell on Latveria and stop Doom from unleashing his retribution on everyone else. So what I'm saying is, keep it coming, Zdarsky, and we'll be back next month with issue 5. But in the meantime, what did you guys think about this issue and the series overall to this point? Jump into the comments below so we can discuss. Other than that, we will see you next time when we talk about all things comics.